Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be attempting for the first time ever trying out the bokeh technique, which has become so popular recently. It seems to be making a bit of a comeback, and I'm going to start off by creating some backgrounds. So I'm starting off with using my Distress Oxides, the Mowed Lawn and Salty Ocean, on a piece of watercolor paper which I have thoroughly wet down first with plain water. And then I'm just using a wet paintbrush to add the color onto the paper. So I have seen a few different ways to start off the bokeh technique, and of course you need some sort of background. I mean, you could probably use a pre-made one as well, but I am going to make a couple here and just see how I go. So the next one, I'm using some picked raspberry, worn lipstick, some wilted violet and some shaded lilac. Just pinks and purples, and I am going to this time use blending just with a normal blending tool. So again, you can use whatever techniques that you kind of feel comfortable with. However, the one good thing about the bokeh technique is that you can pretty much hide any of the blending mistakes that you make. So these panels do not have to be perfect at all. In fact, they can be less than perfect and still turn out really nice. So I am just popping these colors on here. I didn't really have any idea of whether dark colors work better or light colors work better, or to have a mixture of those colors. As I said, this is just me having a play because I haven't tried this technique before at all. So I'm just adding some pinks, a few different spot of pinks and a few different spots of purple. I have a little bit of post-it note tape on my fingers just so that my fingerprints don't make marks in the Distress Oxide ink. And that is background number 2 done and dusted. Number 3 background here with the Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn, which is obviously just a lighter and kind of a medium green. It's pretty much the same as what I did the first time round, but I wanted to use just one color, but just darker and lighter of that. So there's no rhyme or reason and nothing's perfect at all. I'm just getting the color on. I'll show you the finished ones, how they dried in just a minute, but in the meantime, I am going to make my own stencil because I didn't have a stencil with lots of different size circles. So I'm actually running really low on acetate at the moment, so I'm going to use a piece of Vellum, and I'm going to use my infinity circles from Hero Arts, I think it's like the 5 smallest ones, or maybe a little bit up from the smallest. I decided that these were the sizes to use, but again, you can use whatever size circles that you want for your project, and I can also save those little masks for later as well. So I will keep everything, and now I have my kind of homemade stencil ready to go. I'm going to be using the Hero Arts Pigment ink. I know there is a couple of pigment inks when it comes to whites out there on the market. This is just the one I have, but I'm sure that anything would work perfectly fine. I'm using some finger daubers because that's definitely what I find easiest, and these are the 3 backgrounds that I came out with. So the first one here that I was trying was really just a little bit of a trial. I wasn't sure how much ink I should be putting on and things, so I started off pretty lightly with the white ink, and my idea was that as I got smaller with the circles, I wanted to make the white ink heavier and heavier. So as I said, I'm just playing around and I don't know the rights and the wrongs of this technique. This is just me enjoying some crafty time. Over on my Facebook page, where we have lots of people sharing all different versions of this technique at the moment. It seems to be really popular. I'll leave a link to that Facebook page down in the description box below in case you're interested, but it's a great place where you guys can share your creations with me, and I really love being able to see them and talk to you guys over there. But anyway, this is almost version number 1 done, and I'm going to move on to the second one here, and I pretty much use the same technique for all of these, so I am going to speed this up a little bit, but I hope that the thing that I kind of took out of this is that no matter really what your background was, the bokeh technique or the dots become the focus almost a little bit. So as I said, it doesn't really matter what's in the background. They end up looking pretty good, I think. And I had actually ended up making 2 cards out of this lot. I did cut them down, obviously, you'll see soon. So even just out of these 3 panels that I made today, I'm able to get lots of cards out of them. This is actually part one of a two-part video because it ended up being really long, but doing this bokeh technique kind of inspired me to do this second card where I got some ideas along the way, and it's kind of the bokeh technique, but not really at all. Anyway, I hope that you guys will join me for that one. I definitely love the second lot of cards that I made versus these first ones that I made. I guess I was just more experimenting here. But anyway, so I hope you will join me for that video, which will come out straight after this one. And now I have finished up all three backgrounds, so this is what they looked like once they were done. I did go ahead and dry them with a heat tool so that they were nice and set. I have some black cardstock here with some stickered adhesive on the back, and I'm going to run that dye through a couple of times. I have cut down one of those panels and I'm going to place it onto some gold mirror cardstock just because I was sort of trialing out a few different colors and things. So I've popped it on there, and then I'm going to pop it down the side of my card base, and my card base is a 110 pound Nina Solar white card base. I have stickered adhesive, as I said, on the back of that die cut, so I'm going to pop that right in the middle. These cards are beyond simple to make. You could recreate this technique even just with pattern paper. You don't have to make the bokeh effect in the background. And then this is a get well soon card for a friend of mine. So this was super simple, and I did really enjoy making these cards, and it was nice to kind of bring them together really quickly in the end and enjoy the fruits of my labor. So I am starting the second one here. Again, I'm putting it together in exactly the same way. I am just putting it down onto some black cardstock this time. I used some double-sided tape to adhere all of these panels down, but you could definitely use liquid glue as well. Some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is a black pigment ink to stamp the sentiment, just a nice thank you one. And again, I'm just peeling the stickered adhesive off the back of my die cut. You could use any die cuts that would work really well here, anything would be good. And then of course, you know me, I'm going to finish it off with a few Nuvo drops in a coordinating pink for this one, and then I'm going to pop black on the second card. Let me know what you guys think of these in the description box down below. As I said, I have a video number 2 coming super soon, and I would love to hear your thoughts of what you think of my second version as well. See you next time. Bye.